Hello, my name is Milo and welcome to my rural DoorDash ride-along. It is New Year's Eve, first time I'm actually dashing on a holiday and not just like first thing in the morning. It is about 20 to 4 and I am gonna go until maybe about 9 o'clock. If you're new to the channel, I've only been dashing for 7 months, so I'm still figuring some stuff out. I've already hit my target income for the month, so whatever I get tonight is just icing on the cake. Although for how long I'm planning to be out, it would be great if I made $100. We'll see if that's realistic. Well, I logged into DoorDash way too early because I sat for 45 minutes before I got an offer. $6 for 8 miles. Go to Dairy Queen. Pickup and drop off are both in Toledo, which is one town over. This is a terrible offer no matter how you look at it, but I've been sitting here with nothing to do for 3/4 of an hour, so I'm going to take it anyway. That order is dropped off. It was supposed to be a leave it at the door, but he came out to take it directly from me, and his toddler stepped outside with him and was just so excited for the food. It was kind of adorable. Well, before I left Toledo, I got another Dairy Queen offer. This one is going to Newport, so it's paying me to drive to Newport. The downside is it's $2.63, so I think this is a no-tipper. I am really glad for having the new DoorDash bag. I talked about it in the last video. So now I have 2 bags, which is great because I got a hot bag and a cold bag on this order. Dairy Queen had only just received this order on their screen as I was walking in, so I had to wait, which is unfortunate for a no-tip, long-distance trip. But it allowed me to look at the delivery notes, and I'm going to share this with you because I was yesterday years old when I learned this. There is a way to see the delivery notes before you leave the restaurant. And I always thought you couldn't do that. And so it always drove me nuts when the customer would put in the delivery notes, can you get extra sauce or whatever it is that's restaurant specific that isn't really a note for me as it is for the restaurant, and I don't see it till I've left. In the top left corner of the screen, while you are waiting for the order, there's that settings icon. Sometimes it doesn't show up right away. Sometimes you have to like mark the reason for your wait, or you click on that gear icon for settings, and then you see where your tasks are. Pick up from this restaurant for this person, deliver to this person. You tap on deliver to so-and-so, and then it pops up with their address and delivery notes. There was nothing remarkable in the delivery notes for this customer. I'm just using this as an excuse to tell you about it. I've dropped off that order, and I immediately got an order from Clearwater. It is $6 and change with a plus sign. All right, I had to wait about 10 minutes for that order, which made me kind of nervous when the hostess didn't have an estimate of how long my wait was going to be, and I'd parked in a 20-minute loading zone because parking was so full around there, but it was only a 10-minute wait. That total I think went up to $12 if I saw it right, and then I immediately got a new offer taking me to Abby's Pizza for $7-ish. Well, I had to wait for that pizza order too. Probably about 10 minutes there as well. Once again, I just barely finish a drop-off and I immediately get a new offer. I'm going right back to Abby's Pizza and I'm delivering this one to Toledo. Back to Toledo we go. This one, however, is $18, so at least it's a much better payout. This time, they had the order already ready. I still had to wait a couple of minutes just because there was a line of people at the counter, including another dasher. All right, that order is completed. While I was driving to Toledo, I got a notification that it's busy in Newport. Do you want to go door dashing? Yes, I already am. Before I even left Toledo, I got a Burger King stacked offer. So I'm going right back to Newport with an assignment. It's $11, 10 miles. Well, this is a new one. I've never had this happen before. The lobby's closed and I have to do the drive-thru. Picking up through the drive-thru went as well as it could have. By the time I got to the window, both orders were ready, and the line was moving fairly quickly. the first drop-off is completed. It was actually someone I knew. And now I'm going to deliver to the second customer who has put in the delivery notes and sent me a message as well to say, please put it on top of the car. All right, both deliveries are dropped off now, and one of them added a tip. And now there's Peak Pay. It's also the first time that I didn't have an immediate offer ping-ponging me somewhere else, except for the ones in... Oh, I got a phone call. I hope I got a screenshot of that offer because I was on the phone, but I had an offer for Clearwater. I'm just trying to find a place to park because there's nothing here. Just as bad as it was earlier. Loading zones are my friends. I once again had to wait for that order. They were still as slammed as they were before, if not more so. That seems to be a recurring pattern tonight, that I've got a wait time on most of my offers. So I dropped off that order. It took a moment because I couldn't find the darn apartment in that building. It is the most bizarre apartment building I've ever seen. And I ended up calling the customer who said to just leave it by the office. Felt bad about that, but at least it got dropped off. And then I declined this shopping order. It's only 3 items, but it's going to Toledo, and I don't really want to do shopping. And if it's this busy, I figured I can decline this and I'll probably still get something else, because the main reason I don't like to use my declines is because I don't want to just be sitting and waiting and doing nothing. But it's hopping tonight, so I declined it, and then I immediately got an offer for 101 burger that I think was $7 with a plus sign. Well, it was ready. All you had to do was get the shakes out of the freezer where they were being stored until I arrived. I've got a paragraph of delivery notes. Oh, I know what neighborhood that is. I do understand why it's got explicit notes. Dropped that off and I immediately got hit with a Walgreens offer. I was actually intending to decline it, but my fingers short-circuited and hit the accept button instead, so now I'm taking a Walgreens shopping order to Toledo. This is actually worse than the Safeway one that I declined. I'm not gonna unassign it because I don't believe in unassigning except in extreme cases. I did have a couple substitutions, but fortunately the pre-approved customer substitutions were available. There was one other item that I thought was missing, but then I realized it was just on the top shelf and so far back that it wasn't visible until I literally jumped to get a clearer view. All right, that order is completed, dropped off, and I'm on my way back toward Newport to see what I get next. The app is now showing previously busy zones, so that's not encouraging, but I've been doing great so far, and I'm at $80-some right now, which is amazing. This last offer, bizarrely, had a 28-cent tip. At that point, I really wonder why you bother tipping. Maybe he's rounding up the entire order total to the nearest dollar, but, and I've done that where I round up the total to the nearest dollar, but I like round up the total plus tip to the nearest dollar is what I would do. So Peak Pay came to my rescue on that offer. Peak Pay is over now, but it's going to start again at 9 o'clock if I'm still dashing at that time. I guess I'm gonna be doing shopping now, because this is a Fred Meyer order that came in en route back to Newport. $3 a mile though. Oh, well, never mind, the order just got canceled. Less than a minute after receiving the offer, Safeway, so I'm still shopping. Okay, this is $2 a mile, not $3 a mile. Let's hope this one doesn't get canceled too, because that would be hilarious if that happens twice in a row. I found everything on this person's shopping list, no substitutions. A few of them took a little bit of searching to find, but I did get everything. And then I had to wait in line for checkout. And we are back to food delivery. As soon as I dropped off those groceries, I got an offer from Barge Inn Tavern for $6.59. That order was ready. I did not have to wait for it. And I am going to drop it off at a hotel leave at room door. That food is delivered, and with that delivery, I am mere cents away from my $100 goal for the night. And now this McDonald's order that I just accepted, while still not that good, is gonna put me over the edge for that. Well, that order was super easy. It was already ready, sitting on the counter, and the delivery instructions were super clear. I was able to drop it off in no time flat. They weren't even that far from McDonald's, and now I'm going straight right back to McDonald's all over again for another not very good offer. That last one was so quick that when I walked in again to McDonald's for this one, the manager, I think he's the manager, was saying, "You're back already, that was fast." And I understand why this one is such a low-paying offer. It's literally just a shake. That's all this person ordered. So if they did their tip by percentage, I totally get it. I'll amend my comment about tip percentage. This person didn't tip at all. So I'm not immediately getting another offer. I'm wondering if this is a sign that I should call it. No, I am not taking Taco Bell to Depot Bay $10 for 13 miles, which is a 26-mile round trip. No, I'm not doing that. Another day I might have done that. I might have taken that hit, but not today. Someone who's a little more desperate for an offer can take that one. I'm gonna call it right here. I'm gonna be done. It's been a fantastic shift once I got past the first 45 minutes. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Here are numbers on the screen of what the stats looked like if you want to see a little more detail on that. And happy dashing. I will see you in the next video.